Good afternoon. This is Mira Baker, Manager of Marketing and Communications at FirstService Residential, Texas. I'm here today with Miss Karla Chung. She is the Vice President of Cash Management and Lending at FirstService Financial Incorporated. Hello, Karla. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Hi, Mira. Good to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. So we'll jump right into it. Can you please tell us just a little bit about yourself and your role at FirstService Financial Incorporated as a VP of Cash Management and Lending?
Sure. I'm happy to do so. I have been in the banking business or industry for basically 30 years, and with the last 12 here at FirstService Financial. I've always had a love for banking. I don't know why. Um, we basically, with respect to cash management and lending, those are kind of two sides of the same coin. So with our association clients that have large balances and they're meant to be used for capital replacement items over the next, call it 10 or 30 years. So we want to make sure that we're helping those clients to eliminate any risk in their portfolio, make sure there's appropriate liquidity so that they can pay their bills when they need to, and then ultimately to help them optimize their overall portfolio income so that it can help offset, inflation and increases in assessments, and other, of those types of expenses. So my role again is helping to help FirstService Residential help its clients to do that as far as the investment side of the business. Similarly, on the lending side, again, lending being a little bit even more complicated than the investment side, trying to help those clients determine should they even go out for a loan versus, let's say, issuing a special assessment or increasing their regular assessment. So we help to structure those different types of scenarios, and we talk with our clients with respect to what might work best for their situation.
Excellent. So, all of these services that you provide to First Service residential communities, before we get into the nitty gritty of it, what if they ask, who is FFI or who is First Service Financial Incorporated? Is there like a quick elevator pitch that you normally give people who ask
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. So, FirstService Financial, we were created 25 years ago, basically to leverage the FirstService global footprint to create value for clients. So we are an affiliate of FirstService Residential. All that means is that we are ultimately owned by the same parent company, which is the FirstService Corporation, the publicly traded entity.
So, on top of all the services that you just described that FFI provides, what are some of the other main financial services provided by FFI that might be outside your role?
So a few of the others that I'm not directly involved with, but that FirstService Financial is the other big one is insurance for association clients. So FirstService Financial has another sister company, called FS Insurance Brokers, and so that particular company, they don't tend to write insurance directly from FS Insurance Brokers, except in a different region outside of Texas. But in essence, it's the same idea of leveraging that global power. So, in many cases, FirstService Financial is able to issue, direct policies that are only available to clients of FirstService Residential. And these are kind of, the sort of best forms, every aspect of that insurance policy is kind of the best in the market.
Excellent. So, are communities served by First Service Residential, are they required to use FFI if they're managed by us?
So no, they're not. So what we like to say is that, these, especially on the cash management, on the investment side, those accounts are the property of the association, and so the board has discretion as to how they wish to invest their funds. Now, we do mandate on the operating side that clients use our preferred bank only because there's a lot of system integration. But again, it is best in class, so that's why we kind of also mandate that the use of that. But as far as all of the investments and the reserve side of kind of the client's investments, that is board discretion. We do find that across all of the Texas regions, we probably have over 90% of our client base that is participating in our banking program because of that value that we add.
So, do you have any specific examples off the top of your head of how FFI has helped a First Service residential community maybe save money in their yearly budget or help them in other ways?
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably a lot of examples that we can provide. But typically what happens is, especially with like new clients, a lot of the times those portfolios are not really actively managed. And so when we come in, we're usually in many cases doubling the interest income, if not more, for new clients. The other nice thing in terms of from a service perspective is it's a collaboration between FirstService Financial and FirstService Residential in terms of maintaining that client's portfolio again in a risk-free manner while trying to maximize their portfolio income.
I'm just personally curious about something, and maybe it'll be useful for the webinar. But I overheard this community who wanted to work with First Service Residential, but they were trying to make it work budget wise as far as our management, how it would fit in with their community and how it would fit their needs. So I heard someone ask, didn't they ask FFI if they can find a way to make it work for their community? So is this something that is common or something that you've seen before? Maybe a community who wants to work with First Service Residential, but they need to figure out a way to make it fit financially?
So I have a couple of different examples on that. So I've had actually some clients that, I've been told that the main reason they've even come over to First Service Residential is because they liked the service offering from First Service Financial with regards to the insurance and the investments. It was a service that was sorely, I guess, missing from either because they were self-managed or from sort of the competition. It wasn't something that where that need was being met. I've had situations where I've spoken with kind of the sales directors, and they've been able to win some new clients because when they show the client sort of the reallocation into our banking program, we're able to find enough of an up or an increase in the income that it helps them offset that management cost, or it helps them up staff even. So there's different ways that extra income can be used, right? With respect to the lending side, um, because again, I mentioned lending is a little bit more complicated. Our lending partners prefer when clients work through us to negotiate the loan. We across North America are doing $500 million a year in loans for clients in terms of helping clients. And so our lenders know that we're bringing them, kind of viable prospects. We are walking the client, we're the ones that are coordinating the process with them. And so it saves them a lot of time. And so for that reason, they're willing to provide our clients with better terms and conditions than that client could otherwise obtain on their own, going directly to that lender. And a great recent example was not in the Texas region, a different region where in December there was a client that was about to join First Service in January. And again, the salesperson noticed that that client was about to sign a loan. And he reached out to my colleague and said, hey, they're not a client yet. They're starting next month, but I've noticed that they're about to close on this loan. And it just so happened to be with a lender that my colleague works with. So my colleague called that lender directly and said, hey, I've got a client that is joining us next month. I know you've been working on this loan with them, but we'd like to get them the FirstService preferred terms and conditions. And the lender said, not a problem. Reissued all of the loan documentation, and we ended up saving that client over like $300,000 before they even joined us on day one.
Wow. Well, I'm sure they appreciated that. And that's a great example of going above and beyond to go out of your way to help something that or help someone that you see is in need.
Mhm.
Could you please give us some examples of how FFI is currently helping Texas clients?
Certainly. In the past week or so, there's been a lot of concern from clients with respect to whether their portfolios contain any risk in them. So we've been reviewing lots of client financials just to reassure those clients. If they're in a risk-free situation, then they're fine. But if there is some risk in their portfolio, we are making recommendations to help them basically rectify those situations. And in many cases, we're finding opportunities for them to increase their overall portfolio income.
Okay. Well, I just want to end this with I'm so impressed with everything you just shared with us. I just want to end this with asking a personal question about you. What do you do outside of FFI? I mean, you do so much within FFI. I just want to know what do you do outside as far as hobbies and how to decompress from all of it?
So these days, not a whole lot, but on a normal basis. So I have two kids, and I have a daughter that's just started college, and my son's in high school. So I'm busy with them, doing stuff with them, traveling sometimes. Um, what else do I like to do? I love to eat. I'm a big foodie, so
Who doesn't love
try
that?
right, trying new places and trying new foods. So yeah. And then when I'm not doing any of those things, I'm just hanging out with my puppy. But he's not a puppy. He's a
Oh,
6-year-old
but
puppy.
they're always puppies in our eyes.
Hmm.
This has been Mira Baker, Manager of Marketing and Communications at FirstService Residential Texas, interviewing Karla Chung. Thank you so much, Karla, for joining us today, for taking time out of your very busy schedule at FFI to join us today and answer a few questions we had. So, if people who watch this want to get in touch with FirstService Financial Incorporated for any questions they have, can they go to the website and then they're routed from there to ask their questions or any questions they may have?
Certainly, they can either go through firstservicefinancial.com and go to the contact section, and there's a little form there with a couple of drop-down menus they could fill out, or typically they can reach out through a Texas business development director, and the BDD will reach out to us as well.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much, Karla, for joining us today.
My pleasure.